Are you far right? Are you right wing? What does it mean to be right wing? Sarah Dardasha is about to tell you.
Well, if you're interested in Arabic, it could be
Here we go.
صحيح سياسيا, which is
صحيح.
صحيح سياسيا, which does not mean
True politics.
could be. I don't
That's
know.
what I get from that. Sahih, true.
صحيح is true, سياسيا, politically.
Siyasi.
But
Okay. Is that not politically correct?
right wing or far right?
Well, politics is divided into left and right. I can't exactly remember why, but in England at some point, one section sat on the left, one section sat on the right. I don't know if it's still the case that Labour sit on the left and the Tories sit on the right. But that's why you've got it described as right and left. Left wing generally characterised by an emphasis on ideas such as freedom and equality. The reason why the left right political spectrum is a system of classifying political positions, ideologies and parties with an emphasis placed upon issues such as social equality. So that I think it was in the French. The terms left and right first appeared during the French Revolution of 1789, when members of the National Assembly divided into supporters of the ancient regime to the president's right and the supporters of revolution on the left. So the people that wanted to bring things forward, change and have a revolution, they were on the left. People that wanted to maintain the same, go back to the old way, they were on the right.
And so still the case.
I believe so. Well, that's where the language comes from. So conservatives on the right want to conserve the good things that we have, in their opinion, family values, structure of a society, and they think, well, we're losing all that because of these progressives on the left who want to change, who want to move forward. In their idea, they are improving society and doing away with things we had in the past, like slavery, like misogyny, like what's the word? Male, the patriarchy. So they would see these as bad things that held society back, and they want to progress beyond that. Conservatives like things about the past. Let's face it, there's good things about the future and there's good things about the past.
Of course.
It doesn't mean you have to be one or another, but to describe yourself as left wing or right wing has traditionally meant that you adhere to one of those two options.
Okay.
So that's where we get far. The issue we're having at the moment, and a lot of people on the far right have coined this joke / phrase, I'm not far right, I'm just right so far. They believe that they have been vindicated about a lot of the stances they have taken in recent years, and that being labelled far right is kind of to besmirch them or disregard them. I saw a cartoon with a son telling his dad, "Oh, I've hurt my leg," and he said, "Which one, the left one or the far right?" And this is the idea that, well, if you're on the right, you're far right, but if you're on the left, you're just left. Maybe the media describe people on the right as far right, and the people on the left as just left.
Can you be far left?
Yeah, well, communist. Really far left might be anarchist, people that we believe that we shouldn't have any law whatsoever. Far right parties, for example, in Lebanon, the Kateb party. In English, we call them the phalangists. Kateb is part of the finger, right?
Kateb?
Yeah.
I hear writer when you say katib.
So the phalangists in Lebanon were the Maronite Christians during the Lebanon Civil War, and I believe the name relates to part of the finger. You've never heard of that party?
No.
Have you not studied the Lebanese
History?
civil war?
No.
All right. Well, we can come back to that another time.
Okay.
Were there any other far right people you wanted to talk about?
There's two topics that I would like to talk and see words, as we are talking about language here, discussing words and the use of words. And I will discuss with you two words. To start with, what does immigration or immigrant means to you? Or means to the far right?
It means go back to your own country. I'm talking about these...
حزب الكتائب اللبنانية.
So كتائب is part of the finger?
لا. Kitab is a book. And
all right, but
كتائب.
read it in Arabic. Is there anything to do with...
كاتب, a writer. حزب الكتائب اللبنانية.
Translate of the Greek word battalion, which is also the origin of the Spanish word phalange.
I don't know where you get the finger from.
Okay, maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. It was to do with battalion. Okay, but they were a far right party in Arabic.
Okay, we can discuss that on the next episode, as I actually don't know about.
All right, no problem.
حزب الكتائب اللبنانية.
You wanted the word immigrants.
That's correct.
What about it?
بالعربية means مهاجر.
Mm-hmm.
And hijra is if you are struggling where you are. Let's say, for example, you can't find the mean to feed your family anymore. You do hijra.
Yeah.
If you are in danger, you do hijra.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, like if you're struggling, you do hijra. Because you might find something else you can do in another land and find earnings and you can survive. As in, you don't just stay where you are.
I'm struggling to get a biscuit, sorry.
You don't stay where you are.
Yeah.
And just struggle and die.
Okay.
You make hijrah to have a better life, or to just have a, like standard life if there isn't any in your country or where you are at the time. What does immigrants means to the majority of the people here, and where is this fuss coming from?
So, I think the issue with the far right have with immigrants. Look, some people just don't like immigrants whatsoever because they're foreign. But if you speak to the sensible people that can actually articulate their argument, many of them will say, I don't have a problem with immigration, I have a problem with illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a perception that illegal immigrants coming to the country are being given services that these people themselves feel that they're not getting.
Okay, but how far can you go out to have your say? For example, you want to say illegal immigrants, but then you say to everyone that is with color, go back to your country, not even knowing how this person came and why. Are they working? Are they paying taxes? Do you know what I mean? How long have they been here? Are they married to someone from the country? Not knowing all of that and just calling people to go back home. And I once have met a nurse, when the protest happened, not this time, the previous time, again, like they came out on the streets and far righters and whatever. And she is, she's European, but she looks Lebanese. She has a little bit of a dark skin. Greek, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And she said she got someone telling her go back home, and she was really scared. And she said, "I'm not wearing a headscarf. I'm not Muslim. Do you know what I mean? And I'm European." And but it really got to her. She felt unsafe. So why just attacking everyone out there? Like, why don't you have your say if you want, without being racist, without, do you know what I mean? Like, where is the line, and who puts that line? Does the government allow it too much, or?
As soon as you put people into two groups, there can be animosity, especially if they feel that one is better than another or is being treated better than another. Look, some people don't like the people that live up the road. People in West London don't like East London, or you're a different postcode. People can fight over anything if they are put into different categories.
But doesn't that go back again to the government? Would that be mistakes that back to how the system is working? Because really, it's up to whoever decides where to put these people, and these groups are in, different postcode, and even different postcode in London, for example, get different treatments. Even not even talking about immigrants, the people that lives here within the education system, or the GP or whatever. Again, depends on which borough you are. And what's your postcode, you will get different.
That's right, yeah, they call it the postcode lottery sometimes, of what you could receive or not receive.
So how much is the system fault to create all of these things? Going back to the words, so we've discussed immigrants, asylum seekers, and I would like you to explain the difference.
So, immigrant is just someone who moves from one country to another. Funny enough, when British people go and live abroad in Spain and other places, they are often referred to as expat. Have you heard of that word?
Yes, of course.
Expat, expatriate, someone who's come from their country to go and live in another country. The difference between that and immigrant, it seems to be quite a subtle difference. Is it if you're a white person from England, you're an expat? If you're a foreigner from another country, you're an immigrant? Possibly. There's a hint that immigrants might be coming for a better life, or to settle, and expats are people with enough money that are going to live somewhere else. I don't know. I don't know the exact difference in definition. I can only spot how there seems to be an inconsistency in the way that those words are used. An asylum seeker is anyone fleeing one country and applying for asylum in another, and that could be because you're gay and they don't accept that in your country. I think I've heard that one has been used quite a lot. That could be there's war in your country. That could be many things. But whether or not your asylum application is accepted depends on the country that you apply to. And I think anyone has the right to apply for asylum, and you can apply in any country. Just because you're in France and you've come from a war zone and you've arrived in France, I think you still have the right to apply in England if you choose. Those on the right will say, but you're already in a safe country, you're in France. Why are you crossing another border to apply for asylum? There's many reasons why people might want to live in England rather than France, maybe because they speak English and not French. But that, to address your question of the definition of an asylum seeker, it's anyone that is seeking asylum from one country and applying in another.
And they could have entered legally or illegally, right?
Well,
or
this is the thing. It's not illegal. It's illegal to cross the channel in a boat, but it's not illegal to apply for asylum.
Okay, so as long as you just landed to that country, you can apply. However, mean you have arrived.
I'm not a lawyer, but the argument is I'm not against migration. I'm against illegal immigration.
But sometimes people will say to you, but there is no other way of coming.
Yeah, well, that's why when they arrive, you need a lawyer or some kind of process to determine, is this legal or not? If this person is genuinely fleeing persecution, then they would have a right to apply for asylum. It's very difficult. Like there's no easy answer to all of this, you know.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a very maybe stupid, I don't know, but it's a question anyway. Any question can be. Obviously, I want to get something out of this question.
Yeah.
If an asylum seeker or an immigrant, or let's say asylum seeker, came to the country and applied and got offered to stay in a hotel, how much of my rights am I losing?
Well, I think they're only in the hotel until their application is processed, if I'm correct.
Okay, yes.
And there needs to be some kind of accommodation for people until that happens, and you have to go through that process. What are you losing if someone else is?
What am I losing? Like, why I'm not, obviously that's not me. I'm saying the people here.
Okay, what
why
do they
are people upset about some people fleeing to the country and getting to stay in a hotel? Why are they so upset about that? Like, how much of the funding that I am losing as a person, as a citizen here? Do you know what I mean? Is that because people are paying for it out of their tax money?
I guess so.
Is the tax money getting increased because of these immigrants, or is it going to be the same? Have you ever been told that your tax has increased because of the amount of people coming to the country?
You won't get told that, but the perception will be that if other services are bad, if you can't get a GP, if you've got a bad GP, or if you feel the schools are underfunded, you will look around and say, well, where could there be more money? I think most of the money, or an astronomical amount of money, is spent on weapons, is spent on war, is spent on sending it to countries that are involved in war. I'm not going to mention which ones, but we've wasted a hell of a lot of money on war.
So if people are aware of how the funding works and where the majority of the tax money goes, they should really then decide, is it the immigrants or is it the weapons that we should be after?
Yeah, I'd start with the weapons. Let me know in the comments if you're annoyed about people in hotels. Let us know why and what you make of this idea that we've wasted a lot of money on war. Does that also annoy you?